What's up, everybody? This is Chris Nichols, and you're listening to an episode of the Nichols and Dimes Show featuring John Lahlouh. Enjoy.
You don't know what I'm about to do. Big explosion, get away right now. She's heating up, still acting full. Slow down, man, I just don't know how. You don't know what I'm about to do.
What's up, John Lahlouh?
Hey Chris, how's it going, man?
Good, man. Appreciate you having me.
Well, it's good to be here.
Oh, yeah, dude. We got 2023 is starting, and how's it feeling so far?
Pretty great, actually. I feel like I got a lot of momentum. Work's going good.
Yep.
Excited about a lot. How about you?
Nice, man. Yeah, so honestly, same for me. It's off to a strong start. But guys, I just want to first introduce my guest today. His name's John Lahlouh. He's a friend of mine from our college days at Santa Clara. Since those days, John has worked at his family business, Lahlouh Inc., which does marketing communication management services, and he's also building his brand as a musician, which we'll spend some time talking about. John was born and raised in Burlingame, California, in the Bay Area, and has since made his way to San Diego. He recently got married to his wife, Charlie, this past year. Congratulations on that.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Man, it looked like an amazing wedding, and gosh, dude, I'm stoked. But 2022 has been a hell of a year for a lot of people. How would you describe it for you?
It was hectic. Definitely hectic. I mean, a lot of planning for the wedding, for sure. Work was intense. We're implementing a new system, which is always very, very chaotic.
Mm-hmm.
And Charlie actually, when we got back from our honeymoon, Charlie broke her ankle in two places, so that put us through a whirlwind. But yeah, I mean, overall, it's been a crazy. It was a crazy year, especially. I mean, even in the markets. Felt it in my pocket a little bit, like everyone else.
Oh yeah.
So it was a very interesting year, to say the least.
Yeah, it's been crazy times. So let's start off. What brought you to San Diego, and then we'll talk about your journey from Lahlouh and your music brand building throughout that. But when did you come to San Diego, and why?
Yeah, so my wife Charlie's in med school down here, and so we've been here for about a year and a half,
mm-hmm.
and I'm just working remote and absolutely loving it.
Good.
I mean, you can look outside here. We've got a good view, and San Diego's incredible. So, that's why I'm down here.
Yeah. For in context, he's referring to the view. We're in downtown San Diego, Little Italy, and gorgeous view here. You can see the cruise ships, the aircraft carriers, Coronado, Point Loma, all the buildings in downtown. It's pretty much the best 360 view you can get from central San Diego. Yeah, that's awesome, dude. So let's talk about you got involved with your family business, Lahlouh Inc., which is, of course, your last name. Could you just give us some background on what Lahlouh Inc. does and how it started within your family and what you do with them today?
Yeah, so my dad, his brothers, and my grandpa, they moved here from Syria in the late 70s and started Lahlouh. It was actually color copy printing back then in 81, and it's started then as a printing company, one printing press in a small room in Redwood City, and actually San Mateo was the first building. Very small room in San Mateo, one printing press, and since then it's grown and scaled, following the American dream. And
incredible.
Today, 7 of my other cousins were all involved. My aunts, involved, a couple of my uncles and my dad. So big family affair, and we've grown from just printing to promotional products, so swag and direct mail, a lot of other marketing communication channels that we offer as well for our clients. And so that's a little bit about Lahlouh. That's what we do. We're in Burlingame, California, and we've expanded 6 years ago to Ohio, outside of Cincinnati.
Nice.
Gives us a national footprint, and we actually also have an office in China for the swag type of swag orders. Anything that's over a certain quantity, we work out of those manufacturing plants. But yeah, that's pretty much Lahlouh.
Nice,
in a
dude.
nutshell.
Yeah. So what do you do with them today?
So I'm the director of purchasing. I run, essentially I'm responsible for our vendor management and dealing with any of the outsourcing, any and all outsourcing that we do. Mm-hmm. We can't do everything, but we don't say no. So if we can't do it, we have hundreds of preferred vendors mm-hmm. that will do any of the services we can't do in-house. So my team manages that, and we also purchase all the inputs, all the raw goods, paper, ink, equipment, mm-hmm. presses, those types of things. And starting about a year ago, I also actually finished my MBA, did an emphasis in business analytics, and it led me down a path to
USF MBA?
Yes.
Okay,
nice. Yeah, at USF. And so that led me to getting interested in systems and MIS and all of that. So I'm now involved at some level with our ERP implementation.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So are there plans, I don't know what you're willing to say about this, but long-term plans with Lahlouh? It is your family business. It's your last name. Mm-hmm. What do you envision with that going forward?
Yeah, so I was talking to my buddy about this yesterday. He's a quant. So he started his quantitative hedge fund like 2 years ago, and he's getting ready to open his doors for investment, bigger investment. And we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if we'd ever sell Lahlouh, but I think it's most likely going to be more valuable to us than any like private equity firm.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. I mean, who's going to get more out of it? And we've developed such a strong culture over the decades, and strong relationships with our big clients.
Sure.
That I think it'd be tough for anyone else to just come in and secure those long-term relationships for good. So having said that, I think we're probably going to be around for a while, and I don't see myself going anywhere else, and I don't think my cousins do either. So
nice.
We're in it for the long haul.
Cool, man. Yeah. Well, check them out, guys. Lahlouh, I've driven by it hundreds of times up there in Burlingame. You can see it from the freeway. What freeway is that? The 401 or
101?
101. We got all mixed up between SoCal and NorCal these days. I also made that move from the Bay Area to San Diego. But man, dude, so let's talk about music a little bit, and then I'm curious of how you balance all the above. When did you first get into music, and then how has that evolved to where you are today?
Yeah, I started playing piano when I was like 5, taking lessons, picked up guitar when I was 9, and always had a love for music, and played in a couple of the bands in high school, and then I actually really got back into it heavily in college and decided to minor in music at Santa Clara.
Mm-hmm. Oh, really?
I did, and yeah, and so that gave me like a broader knowledge of like music theory and aural skills and those types of things.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it rounds you out to, being able to apply a general knowledge to any instrument, any sound, right?
Well, what does that mean?
So the piano is the best place to start because you have all the keys in front of you, and you have a big range of notes, right? Uh-huh. From the first key to the 88th, right?
Yeah.
And other instruments, you might be locked into a smaller range. The idea though is when you understand theory, you can write music that accounts for all these different instruments at different, in the lower end for bass and the higher end for a violin. Mm-hmm. It's just theory helps you become a producer. Mm-hmm. Is one thing, or a composer if you want to do that. It just gives you it opens the doors to do anything that you want with music. Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it's almost like it gives you the framework to be creative and to create, to be an artist. Is that what it's kind of doing? Like as opposed to learning what note is which and how to put those notes together on a certain instrument?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can be creative without knowing the theory. I think it's the two are not mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
I would say learning the theory, though, allows you to hear a song
Mm-hmm.
and be able to recreate it, like what I was just doing earlier.
I see.
Chris walked in and I was working on a cover, and if you play something, I can hear the bass, I can hear the high end, I can hear the rhythm, and I can replicate it pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's being able to break down all the parts of a composition.
That makes sense.
That's kind of, I think, that's part theory, part oral skills.
Mm-hmm.
These are music terms that we picked up in school, but
Sure.
I don't consider myself anywhere near good or expert in that field. It just helped me put my creativity in a
structured way.
Way, something to output some decent music, hopefully.
Yeah. So that minor in music was helpful then.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, also just met like a lot of really talented artists. I mean, this amazing trumpet player, Jim, I forget his last name.
This is while you were in school.
Santa Clara.
Yeah.
Yeah, we took a Music 156 was an improv class, and everyone was just super good at some instrument.
Mm-hmm.
And Professor, I think Plume, she just would say, okay, key is C, and whatever speed, and then she would just have everyone start playing, and somehow it would come out like really good.
That's sick.
It was confusing, but because everyone kind of understood a general lines to stay within, that she would put together, parameters that she would set before starting, we'd be able to improvise and just sound like we're playing a song that was planned out.
This kind of reminds me of that concept of the piano or violin duels that people have, right?
Oh, yeah.
Where they're kind of just playing back and forth and going off of what they're hearing the other person do.
Yeah.
Is that kind of the same idea a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, kind of. I think the coolest example of improvisation is the Grateful Dead.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if you're a fan.
Yeah.
I'm not like I'm not like a Deadhead or anything, but I am blown away by what they did and what they do. I guess they're still playing.
Mm-hmm.
Because they never play the same song.
Mm-hmm.
They never play the same song the same. It always sounds different.
Mm-hmm.
And they give each other like mental cues. Like, I say mental because they, were doing whatever they were doing recreationally, and then playing and communicating with looks, with a wink or with a whatever.
Yeah.
And then they'd jump to a different key, or they would ramble on a different instrument. So,
would you say that you can still recognize their style if you say that everything they do is different? Is it just always something from left field, everything they put out, or can you always recognize, hey, this is their style?
Yeah, no, I think they have a pretty distinct style.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like they don't plan the notes that they're going to play.
Yeah.
So you can kind of tell it's a Dead song.
I see.
But, they don't go in thinking, ooh, I got to play these notes at these times.
It's very free.
It's very free. Yeah. It's very, you know what? Like, I'm going to bend the note right here. And, well, that's kind of what they do.
Yeah, I just saw you do that. So I was just watching John do some producing right as we were getting started here, and he's got this whole setup at his place here, but he was trying to figure out how to slide these keys, right? And then you took like less than 2 minutes to look it up and figure out how to do this small little thing, but it makes all the difference in how these these keys connect with each other. What software is that you use?
So I use Ableton. It's very, I think, popular with like sound engineers, people that want to make their own sounds.
Yeah.
And the keys that I was using, that's called Serum. It's a plugin. Serum, very popular with like EDM artists.
Yeah. Okay.
Dubstep, that type of thing.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's like the hardware that is separate. You'd plug in.
Yeah, it's software. It's software that plug in to the software. It's software within a software.
But it's still, the hardware piece is still part of that software with the keys that you're pressing on.
No.
Or is that totally different?
This hardware, it's a Ableton Push.
Oh.
So it's a hardware. It's got 64 keys that you can program to play anything.
Okay.
Essentially, you can put any instrument through it. You can put any scale. You can set it to any scale.
That's crazy.
And it's a controller. You connect the software to it.
I see.
And you can, put a piano on it, put violin on it, put whatever you want.
Nice. Got it. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of people understand how this works better than I do. It's advanced so much since my days of making rap songs in college, the Nichols and Dimes days. Man, dude, yeah, just like you were saying, GarageBand has come a long way too. Yeah, there's so much to explore with all this music tech, honestly. But dude, how would you describe your music style today, and what kind of music are you working on?
Yeah, I put out a little EP in August, and I wasn't ever big on writing music because it's super hard.
Yeah.
To like have, first of all, you have to have something to say or come up with something to say, and then it's just a very difficult thing to do to write good music. And so finally I found a voice, and like a writing voice, and put some songs together. And the first, it's like a 7-song EP that I just put out in August, and it's a couple different sounds. I mean, mainly like kind of a reggae rock vibe.
Yeah.
I get a huge fan of Sublime and Revolution and Expendables and a bunch of those Cali reggae bands. And now I'm working on a new EP, and it's the Little Devil EP is what it's called.
Okay, nice.
And it's like hopefully going to be 4 or 5 songs, and I'm looking to release it spring, summer of this year. But I'm really pumped because I through Instagram, like, I started meeting people through likes and comments and just sliding into artist DMs, and I got one artist's attention who happens to be a producer, and he plays trombone for the reggae band Irie. Awesome band, you should check him out. I just saw him in San Diego like a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
And he's a producer too. He's got a studio in just south of here. What's it called? Imperial Beach.
Okay.
And so I'm going to be working on the EP with him, going into the studio and doing like a really much more professional sound than what I released in August.
Nice.
So I'm really pumped about it, and it's very chill vibes, reggae rock type of thing, some guitar solos in there, and yeah, it's stuff that makes me feel good to make.
Good. Yeah. That's awesome, and it is a good sound for sure, at least from what I've heard, and I'm stoked to. So it's called The Little Devil, right? This EP that you're working on.
Yeah. And
when are you gonna release that?
Late spring, maybe. It depends on when we can get it all done. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I understand how that works. But yeah, guys, be on the lookout for that, John Lahlouh, and this will probably be on Apple Music, Spotify.
Yep.
Okay. Anywhere else?
I think they also just by default throw it on YouTube.
Yeah. Nice.
Social media, that type of thing. You can tag it or use the sound in Instagram or TikTok. And but yeah, and just for reference, so the name Little Devil, where that came from. Yeah. The I certainly had my party years. I think, Did you also have party years?
I can't remember. Yeah.
Okay.
No, yes, I did.
So I know. So I mean, I did, and it just in writing music, like, I'm trying to be authentic and, like, write about what I know and what I'm experiencing, and Little Devil it's about, there is a song in the EP called Little Devil, and it's about that little devil on your shoulder that tries to get you to do bad things. The shit that you shouldn't be doing, drinking too much, smoking too much, or whatever, having bad energy, treating yourself badly, all the above. And so and it's about trying to knock that guy off your shoulder and shake it off. And so that's the theme of and the title of the EP.
That makes sense, and I'm glad you described that because, I know you've, because I also want to write about. I want to ask you about the what you said something very interesting about how you got your groove with writing, because it was hard for a while, you said, and then you got your groove moving.
Yeah.
Can you describe that process?
Yeah, my first time I tried to write a song, I think I was like 9 years old, and my sister and I both got guitars on Christmas.
Nice.
And we were super bad. And,
So it's bad, just like behavior?
No, we were just
bad
terrible.
at guitar.
Trying to learn guitar, which was a long road. And so my sister...
So who got you these guitars? Parents?
Santa.
Okay.
So
Santa.
Santa got us the guitars.
Okay. Good.
And and my sister, I remember I was like, all right, like I got this guitar. I'm only playing on the bottom string. Like, let's see if I can write a song. And I don't even remember what it was. But I just remember getting taunted and made fun of by my sister because of how stupid it was, and that stuck with me for a long time. But
was she better at first?
We were pretty neck and neck in learning instruments, piano, guitar, bass, drums. But my sister actually was really good at writing music and writing poetry, and she was very creative, and she wrote a lot of music, and but she never got too into recording. She did put up like YouTube videos and everything. I ended up taking them down later, but actually that is one of my goals, to work with her to start recording some of her music too.
Wow.
Yeah, because she's a great writer, and she's good at she has her heart on her sleeve, wears her heart on her sleeve, and so yeah. But I never forgot, that taunting, and it took, years later I'd try again to write music, and it just never worked, and it wasn't until I think it's because I just had nothing good to say. I mean, or nothing authentic to say. I mean,
yeah.
Most of the best music, I feel like, comes from experience, comes from hardship.
Absolutely.
Sadness. It doesn't have to be sad, but it should be unexperienced.
Yeah.
Right? Something interesting and real. And so I think it wasn't until a couple of years ago that I'd actually felt something was worth writing down. And so, having done it enough times now, I feel like I'm getting better at articulating, lyrics, better at articulating what I'm trying to get out, and having it sound good. And it's been a process, but I'm happy with where it's going. And the biggest thing is that I don't do this for anyone but myself.
Yep.
I'm always worried about what someone's gonna think of me when they see one of my videos or hear one of my lines, hear my lyrics, hear my songs, and what they might think. And I just remind myself, like, just who gives a shit?
Yeah.
Just, no one cares.
Right.
Someone might think it's stupid, but like that is the only thing that will stop me from making music. And so I've had to learn to not care about anything else, not care about what people think, and just see where this takes me, and just continue to express myself through the writing.
God, I'm glad you brought that up. That's important. So every time you say, when you're posting something, where you're putting something out there that you've created, that you've written, that you've recorded, you get anxious about what people might think of it.
Yeah, I mean, not so much anymore. I mean, I think now I've gotten to the point where I'm like, whatever. But there's always that feeling of like, yeah, I mean, what do people think? What am I posting out there? What do people think I'm trying to be or sound like or whatever? I can overthink it so easily, so I just train myself to not think of it at all.
Yeah. So you've gotten over that. You've gotten better with training yourself to not let that hesitation get in the way as much, but it still shows up, I'm sure, a little bit here and there, and you have to overcome that before you put it out there in some way.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. How do you overcome that?
Just
that reminder that you mentioned of who gives a shit.
Yeah, I think I get the most. I think I feel really great when I see other artists doing what they're doing, expressing what they're expressing. I saw a bunch of stuff a couple videos on social media in the last week about artists like appreciating people that, put out very real, raw, like sounds out of their posts.
Yeah.
Like they will turn on the mic and just play, and it's imperfect, right? It's not perfect. It's just real. Mm-hmm. That's, it's compared to people that spend hours and do 100 takes and then edit their posts to come out perfect, and then get 1 million likes, right? And that's whatever that is, right?
Sure.
But there was an example of that of an artist that did that and then showed up to Times Square for New Year's Eve and went to sing and was like not very good.
Jeez, yeah.
And he, sounded very, very pitchy, and it was, some of it sounded okay, and then some of it was like bad.
Yeah. Compared
to his perfect, every post that he put on Instagram, TikTok were like a magnificent, perfect voice, like, which is just fake. And so I think it for me, it helps to follow, like-minded artists, people that are putting themselves out there every day and not caring, what anyone thinks. Yeah,
that's huge. Yeah, and that's something I've certainly gone through just with this pod too, is, not a lot of these mental blockers, worrying about what others think, right? And not worrying about over-editing it, not making it sound as good as possible or perfect. I think it's expected that when someone's starting something new, you're going to have development. You're going to not be great at first, and you'll get better. That's the only way to get better, is to go through these repetitions and get that experience, right?
Absolutely. I mean, with everything.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm curious, how do you, because you're picking up the attention that you're putting towards your music, when you talk about you're going to get some studio time soon, you have the EP Little Devil coming out, and of course you're still you have a significant role within your family business, Lahlouh. How do you manage your time every day to dedicate to both arts or both crafts?
Yeah, I think there are actually a lot of hours in the day.
Yeah.
I really feel like there are. I think it's easy to say.
That's step number one. Right.
I think there's plenty of time in the day, in the week, to do a lot of different things, and you just need to sit down and decide. And when I say you, I'm talking about myself.
Sure.
Like I made a decision. Like, I used to watch so much Netflix, and like I still do love TV, but I've replaced that with recording music, right? Uh-huh. And so, over the years of recording and playing music, I've been able to become more and more efficient in writing, recording, playing, and coming up with this stuff. So it doesn't take me super long to do it.
Yeah.
So it's very manageable. I mean, I use after hours, after work, or on the weekend. Mm-hmm. And I've also just developed different habits of how to write down ideas really quick. I tend to always come up with lyrics on a plane. I visit the Bay a lot and go back home, and I don't know why I get really creative.
Dude, I can relate to that, man. Airplanes are so great, and it helps throw the phone on airplane mode.
Yeah.
And there's just something somewhat meditative about flying, I think. And I tend to do some deep reflection and write down some stuff on airplanes as well. I totally get what you're saying.
I love it. It's like one of my favorite places to get work done.
Yeah.
Either read or write down some lyrics. Mm-hmm. Listen to a good podcast.
Yeah.
Like this one.
Can't
wait to listen to this.
That's right.
This in the other episodes when it comes out.
Oh yeah.
And so And so yeah, I mean, I'm not necessarily super good at time management. I mean, maybe now I am much better now than I was in college. But yeah, I think it's just having enough respect for what you want to do.
Yeah. And
using that respect to make a decision of, am I going to waste my time with some stupid shit, or am I going to buckle down and schedule time to record and you don't even have to schedule it. Just stop doing the time wasting things. That doesn't mean don't have fun and do everything that fulfills you, but there's certain things that we can waste a lot of time on, like our phones and TV that kind of make you stupid. That's pretty much
right.
I still do it a lot, but
I have a feeling that what you just said, as far as moving that focus from these time-wasting activities or stupid things, they have some parallels to the story that you tell in this album, The Little Devil. I'm guessing that that's the case because of maybe some of the more party activities you used to do in the past that you've moved away from today.
Absolutely, because that theme relates to not just partying, but like any other thing that's pulling you down and pulling you away from your potential, right? Because we can, the last song in the album is called Tree in Bloom, and the lyrics actually, I hate to go on a tangent, but I met this dude that I'm working with now, actually on the EP, and I met him. He's actually an English teacher and a writer, and I read his book. He wrote a novel, and it had some amazing. He's a really good writer, actually, and I was surprised. And I'm like, reading this poem in the novel that really spoke to me, and I used that to write a song. And that's the last song on the album. It's called Tree in Bloom. And the tree itself, the tree in bloom is a metaphor for opportunities. And in bloom, the tree's in bloom because opportunities come and they go. And so when they come, I mean, it's up to you to decide to snatch that opportunity and run with it, right? And live up to your potential, And so wasting time and not focusing in on the things that are going to propel you forward, I think, qualify under the little devil's intention of fucking with you.
I love it, dude. So there's actually a specific song that is focused on what I just guessed, basically.
Absolutely.
Redirecting that focus to the healthier activities, but activities that are actually fulfilling you instead of pulling you away from really getting to your potential there. So what would you say is the first major significant moment in your music journey that made you think, okay, I can get really serious about this? Was it some sort of feedback, some sort of event that happened? What would you say that was?
I mean, there's so many little moments, I think, that kind of got me to keep going and got me to through a new milestone. And I'm still nowhere. I mean, I don't claim to be, I've only released a little EP and it's, I don't not like the music, but it's definitely not high quality producing, but it's,
that's what you think.
But I'm on my way, and that's the point. I think if I were to pick that one moment, I mean, I would say releasing that first album in last August was pretty great feeling because at first I thought I was just putting some music together and releasing it, and then I realized everything that I've ever done that related to music led up to that album. Every skill that I developed and was used to record, produce, write the music, and to do it. So it felt really good, and the feedback I got was honest and positive and some negative, and it just after that I was posting about it on social media, and that's when I got in touch with Andrew, the producer that I was mentioning earlier. And once I got in contact with him, it was like, oh shit, like now I can actually work in a real studio with a real producer. I think that really made me feel like, all right, I should keep doing what I'm doing because it's going somewhere. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's awesome, man. Who was your favorite artist, and then what would you say is your favorite show you've ever seen?
Favorite artist? It's a pretty tough one.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I have a lot. I mean,
you can name a few.
I mean, the Beatles, just in general, not just the music, but just that dynamic between those four dudes. Mm-hmm. It's like really, really interesting to me, and their ability to write music, and then of course the music itself. Carlos Santana, Stevie Ray Vaughan,
love it.
Jimi Hendrix was big for me growing up, and yeah, lately it's been a lot of, like Sublime and J-Boog. I've been really into seeing him again next month. I don't know if you know J-Boog.
I'm not sure that I know.
I'll show you.
Carlos was one of my favorites growing up. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, he's insane.
Yeah,
the guy's insane.
He always has been good too. He's been good for so long.
Yeah, absolutely. Check out Carlos Santana Woodstock, 1969.
Okay.
Soul Sacrifice.
Soul Sacrifice. Okay.
On YouTube, that freaking video, that song, insane.
Yeah, I'll have to ask my dad. He'll definitely know.
Oh yeah. And then favorite show, I think is Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Oh, okay. No. That's a cool answer. But your favorite concert or
favorite concert? Got it. Yeah, Curb Your Enthusiasm.
It's a great one, Larry David, of course.
Larry David.
Yep.
My favorite show. It's also very tough. I mean, one thing that stuck out just now is I was 12. It was one of my first shows. It was Kiss.
Ooh.
It was Kiss.
You saw that?
I saw Kiss, and who opened for them? The Scorpions. And it was epic. I mean...
When was this?
This was when I was 12, so like 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, 19 years ago. Jesus Christ. And yeah, I mean, fucking fire and I don't know if I'm allowed to swear, sorry. Fucking fire, flames, Paul Stanley, the lead singer, like coming in on zip line over the crowd with just fireworks and everything. It was the craziest thing a 12-year-old at the time I could see, and very epic. Very epic, yeah.
God, I can imagine that production is just something else.
Me and my cousin Anthony we were huge. We were very much into Kiss. He's actually I play in a cover band too in the Bay Area.
That's right.
And my cousin Anthony's the lead singer, and we just loved Kiss back then. Like it was just a cool rock band. We were all into it, and so seeing the show was epic.
Nice.
It was just amazing. Yeah.
That's sick. So that's what who you're usually playing with, that band when you go up to the Bay. And where do you usually play? I recall there's some specific
so it's
venue.
The name of the band, it's Cousin Lou and the Kung Foos.
Okay, Cousin Lou and the Kung Foos. There we go.
Interesting. Love the name. So a friend of ours came up with it. We're like, all right, we'll roll with it.
Just kind of random, or was it?
Yeah, well, it's my cousin and I, Anthony and myself were the Lalouxs, and so it's Cousin Lou.
Oh, okay.
And the Kung Foos.
Got it.
The other four dudes are the Kung Foos.
All right.
Shout out Jack, Tony, Adam.
There we go.
And Colby. Colby's my favorite.
Nice. All right. We got favorites.
And so yeah, we've been playing for like five years now, and we play mainly at a bar and grill in San Carlos called The Office.
Okay.
But we've played like up and down the peninsula in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Redwood City, San Mateo, like
nice, up
and down for a long time. And yeah, I think next year we're even going to start playing like a couple weddings and
there we go,
and all that. So yeah, it's super fun.
Nice,
super fun. We cover all our favorite music, from Santana to Sublime, Beatles, pretty much everything I've been mentioning.
Dude, I got to come to one of these.
Oh yeah,
I'll come out. I got to look at your schedule because I'm down to just show up and sing along in the crowd.
Dude, you got to come. It's super fun. We just got a new PA system, so it's bigger, louder. Like the production's getting more official and intense. It's super fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. So this is kind of a fun, big question, but we just finished 2022. What would you say was your biggest highlight and then your biggest challenge of the year?
Biggest highlight was marrying Charlie.
Mm-hmm.
My wedding was incredible. That was definitely the biggest highlight. Our honeymoon was amazing.
Where'd you go for the honeymoon?
We went to Paris.
Wow.
Loved that, and took a train to Amsterdam.
Wow.
Which was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing, super cool. Architecture, history, and all of it was incredible. Biggest challenge, it might have been Charlie getting injured, breaking her ankle.
And that was right at the end of the honeymoon?
That was a week after the honeymoon.
Jeez.
Yeah, and we went roller skating. We were celebrating for her cousin who's moving to London. So we had an Austin Powers themed day, which ended up at a roller skate rink, Church of Eight Wheels, in San Francisco.
Yeah, I've been there. And so you guys are using those old school 4-wheel car skates.
Yep.
And those things are dangerous for the ankles.
Yeah, and Charlie just lost her balance and fell.
Yeah.
And it didn't look horrible, right? But she broke her ankle in 2 places.
God, dude.
And like next day she got x-rays and everything, and she got surgery with a plate and screws and everything. So
jeez, man.
So that kind of threw, we had to stay in the Bay for another month.
Mm-hmm.
So couldn't go back home to San Diego, and luckily we have the best family.
Yeah.
And it was just, we got to spend more time with them, but definitely threw a wrench in her life because she's running around a hospital, and so so I if that's the worst thing, I think we're doing okay. Yeah, that was probably the biggest challenge.
Yeah, and looks like she's doing great now. So
she's much better. Much better. Months later, she's getting it back. So.
Good. Nice, man. Yeah, those are good ones. I mean, definitely a high to a low pretty quick, right? I think that's what shocks people, that roller coaster ride, when it's a big drastic change.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And everyone's everyone's so nice and asking, like, how's married life? And and I mean, it's for a while it was just making sure Charlie was okay, taking care of her, and it's not like we were running around or going out. Not that we didn't do anything, but that was the first priority, was to get her better. So
it's probably a good relationship bonding experience to go through something hard so quickly after really such an exciting time in getting married, right? And that hopefully sets a good tone for appreciating things when they're great from the relationship standpoint going forward.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Put us through the ringer. It was a good test, and we're better than ever. So
nice, dude.
Yeah.
I love it, man. This is good stuff. Who is one person you think I should interview? And I'm looking for people who are building brands for themselves, entrepreneurs working on some sort of project, basically hustling one way or another, just like you are with your music and with your family business. Do you have anyone in mind?
I mean, he was just down here with us. We just had a nice time together. We had a blast. Akil.
Okay.
I think you should absolutely interview Akil, because he's just an interesting, beautiful human being, and is hilarious and absolutely killing it. So followed by George Tabbitt.
I love it. Okay.
So you can't miss out on Big George.
Okay. Well, these are two of my best friends, so I'll take the Rex. I love it.
Shout out George and Akil.
Okay, I love it. Nice, man, and we'll I'm sure we'll get into who those guys are down the line here, because I do know them extremely well. So cool, man. Where can people find you on social media, and where can they find your music today? Yeah,
so I'm on Instagram for the most part, and TikTok. Name is John_LALU_. And that's where you can find me.
Perfect.
John Lahlouh.
And that'll probably guide everyone to where to find your music and hear some of your samples and clips.
Absolutely. It's all on there on my bio, and
awesome.
And, yeah.
Well, dude, we'll be looking out for The Little Devil to get released, and good luck with the recording. That's exciting. This is exactly when I want to catch people, when they're on this up and up, kind of on the early stage, and let's see people like you kill it, man. Let's see people like you become known and continue to pursue their dreams with this stuff.
Looking forward to it, man. I appreciate your support and coming over, and hopefully we can come back when we're about to release it.
Yep.
I can use your help to put the word out, and as long as it's good.
I love it, dude.
we can try to blow it up.
Yeah, man. Well, I think we've had a pretty cool conversation. We've touched on some good stuff. So thank you, man. Thanks, John, for having me.
Absolutely.
Let's get after it this year, dude.
Sounds good. All right, Chris.
All right, brother. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining our conversation today on the Nichols and Dimes Show. Please check out and follow my podcast Instagram at Nichols and Dimes Show. I'd love to have you subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can also find it on my website. I welcome and encourage any feedback you can share in the reviews so I can continue to improve and develop the show. Thanks again, and see you next time.